Hello, hello, and we are back.
We are back from 30 minutes ago. So still, release day, first day for Watches and Wonders. We're still talking our initial thoughts on some of these releases. We just finished up the Rolex releases, and of course we want to mention both Tudor as well as some miscellaneous other watches that have popped up. It is still early, so early in the Watches and Wonders phase, so we haven't seen everything yet, but we do want to talk about some of the novelties that we've seen so far. So once again, I'm Martin. I'm sitting here with Ralph, and we are the Lume Plotters.
The Lume Plotters. And there's a lot of Lume to talk about because all of the watches we see now from Tudor, the new releases, have Lume.
Yes, they do.
So lowest common denominator. Found.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. So what, should we make a rule that we don't talk about any watches without Lume?
Oh, did the new Cellini?
The Cellini, I don't think the Cellini. I was thinking
Lume.
exactly.
Oh my God. Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah.
The 1908. Exactly. It's not a Cellini.
Yes.
It's not a Cellini.
The
We have
new
to forget
Cellini
that word.
That we have to beep.
Yeah, exactly.
The word we are not.
All right. So let's talk Tudor. Tudor is one of our fan favorite. First and foremost, before we get going, what are you wearing on your wrist?
I didn't change, so I'm still wearing my Explorer 2.
And on the other wrist?
On the other side, I'm wearing my Apple Watch Ultra. Yeah, Ultra.
Yes, I'm still in my 36 millimeter Explorer 1, the newer version. Right. So, all right, let's get started.
I think before we start talking about the watches, I think we should also talk about this announcement that Tudor already made the day before, which is that they are now moved to their new manufacturer.
Yeah, this is, I think, a very big deal. As we know, Rolex is struggling in terms of manufacturing production
Capacity, yeah.
capacity. Tudor has always been under one roof with Rolex.
Yes.
And for them, from Tudor to move out, this is going to mean, in my eyes, two things. One, Rolex now can pick up the slack of their Rolex models with the production capacity of what Tudor was making. So now you add all of the Tudor production capacity, basically. You throw it on top of what Rolex is making currently, and now you basically just doubled your output, right? Maybe not, but something around there.
I think when you talk about volume, I think Tudor made about 400,000 watches a year.
Yeah.
So which is a lot. They increased their production every year.
But remember, it takes less time to make a Tudor watch than a Rolex, so it's not going to be a full,
it's more automated, of course.
Exactly.
For sure. But I mean, they occupied certain levels in certain buildings at the Rolex campus, right?
Yes.
And
So it's not as simple as just doubling your capacity.
they did build their own movement manufacturer with Kenisi.
Yeah.
Part of that is all now moved under this roof there. The new manufacturer they moved out basically. So they graduated from school. They're now having their first own job.
So one thing that this is kind of, to me, what this triggers is freedom. The further you away, this is, kind of the idea of distance, right? The more distance you have from your parents,
Right.
the more you rebel, right?
Yes.
Something along these lines. So are we going to start seeing Tudor going a little bit, crazier?
Out of town.
It would be cool.
The parental supervision has ended a bit, right?
Exactly. And this is what I'm thinking is maybe they're going to start doing something more left field, something out of the blue, which would be nice. I would like to see some weird stuff. I love weird stuff.
Yeah. I think they already started with that when
P01.
I mean, quirky models, they always had some, let's say, quirky models.
Yes.
Do you remember I think it was called Hydronaut or something?
Yes, I remember the Hydronaut. At the same time, it was hideous.
Yeah.
Also, no offense if you own one, right? Yeah.
No, it's an acquired taste.
It is. And the P01 was like that. Also, what were they called? The Black Rider, the Knight, black something.
That is actually an incredible watch. It's a full ceramic.
It was
case,
full ceramic
right?
back in when it was.
And nobody was talking.
And nobody talked about it. The color was black and red, right? Which is Tudor's colors.
Yeah, it was a Ducati special.
It was a Ducati, exactly. What was the name of it? Do you
gold.
remember?
Fast Rider
Black Shield. Exactly. There's a lot of words in that name, but it was a cool looking watch, and nobody bought it.
I had it on the wrist once or twice, and I'm regretting not buying it.
That's not the one that the one that I really liked was the North Flag.
Yeah, That's also
That
very
was
nice.
cool.
With the transparent case back.
And the pop of color on the dial. I mean, that was
And the power reserve.
power reserve. Exactly. No Tudor. Actually, I don't know. Maybe other Tudors. As far as I know, no Tudors have power reserve indicators, right? Yeah. That is not something that Rolex or Tudor does.
True.
So cool.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a big fan of Tudor. At some stage, I had way too many Tudors.
You just sold a bunch of them, right?
Yeah, I sold 3. I sold my BlackBerry. Some BlackBerry. Yeah, I had these 2, but that's a long time ago.
You bought a Nokia instead, right?
Exactly. Well, it can do SMS, right? That's also nice.
Or your BlackBerry?
My Nokia, no, my new Nokia. No, anyhow. Yeah, I sold my BlackBerry Harrods. I sold my BlackBerry 58 Blue, and I sold what else? There wasn't the third one that I.
Chrono?
No.
GMT? You still have the GMT?
Yeah, they didn't sell yet, but I did have a Chrono once. The original Chrono, BlackBerry Chrono.
So the Chrono, I was just listening to Ben Clymer talking about Tudor earlier today, and Ben Clymer mentioned that one thing that Tudor has never seemed to get right in the new Tudor, as opposed to in the past, because in the past we had Tudor Chronos that were super cool, right? But with the new ones, the issue was they were always too big, too thick. Too bulky. And that's kind of one of the issues, right? And to me, one of the standouts of Tudor's chrono lines was the Heritage Chrono, the blue. Remember that one?
Blue, orange, gray.
Blue, orange, gray. And then the other one was the gray, black, and red, I think it was.
Beautiful.
Beautiful watches. Once again, huge. They were extremely thick.
Yeah. Because it's a modular movement.
Exactly, right? It's a modular movement.
2892 with the movement module.
Yeah, so this was the issue with that. But the dials were stunning.
Yes,
I thought they were so cool.
That was one of the first watches I was basically looking at, like a couple of.
This
years
was what,
back,
2010-ish.
I think it was about 15,000 dirhams. So like, what is it? $5,000.
Yeah.
Something like
no, 15,000 is just like
$4,000. And I was looking at it and thinking, yeah, I could probably spend that much money on a watch because this is really, really nice. But then I didn't. But I still like them, and they were on the website.
Not anymore, I think. Right? They took them down.
Let's talk about what's new. So,
all right, let's talk about what's
manufacturer. So that's big. They moved out.
Yes,
that's big.
Metas.
So, we have more Metas.
So up until now, we only had one Metas certified Tudor watch,
the ceramic,
which was the ceramic Black Bay, which was also the only Black Bay to say Black Bay on the dial, which I always thought was weird. In black, it was like a hidden logo, and it said black. It was reminding me of the Mosers, right? The ghost, the ghosted logo on it, but it did say Black Bay. So I thought maybe they would start putting Black Bay on some of the new watches, but they did not. Mm-hmm. So surprisingly, they still stuck with the 41 millimeter size.
Yep. And I'm not 100% sure about their size. I have to look at the press kit that
I don't know if it changed, right? Is it still the same size?
Let's go through what from top down what we have here. We have a new Black Bay with the burgundy or red dial. What do they say?
No, not dial. Bezel. Bezel.
Yeah. Oh, yes, sorry.
So it looks to have cream lume plots.
Burgundy. Okay, they call it burgundy.
Lume plotters, cream lume plots.
Mm-hmm. It looks like Fortina. What's your idea on Fortina? Is this a whole episode we have to talk about Fortina?
We will talk about Fortina.
Right.
I am not a fan of Fortina. I like my lume plots to be crystal clear, right?
Oh, okay.
One thing that I just now am noticing, actually, no, it was only some of the Black Bays that had date windows, right? This one does not. But if I remember correctly, the original with the Etta movement did not have date windows. So this is nothing new here. But okay, the big thing is we now have a Jubilee bracelet on a Tudor.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's super cool.
This is again, which is something that I think nobody expected.
Once again, I have a Datejust with a Jubilee bracelet that is quote unquote the Super Jubilee, which allowed you to remove it the 20 millimeter lug width, fit into a Submariner case. And I happen to have a Submariner, and I have worn my Submariner on a Jubilee bracelet, and it is cool. And this is giving me vibes of that exact, mashup. So I think it's super cool. I really like it. But the other thing that every Tudor I've kind of owned, I always thought to myself, you know what? My Black Bay would be cool if it had a rubber strap. And we also get a rubber strap, which I thought, them selling it on leather was always weird.
It looks to me like they have looked at me and looked at what I have done to my Black Bays. My Black Bay Blue, Black Bay 58 Blue, I put it on a Vanguard rubber strap. Vanguard, by the way, local company, does fantastic rubber straps, excellent quality. Maybe we get them on the show one day to talk about their experience of producing rubber straps in the UAE and shipping them worldwide. So I put them on a rubber strap and I put them on a Jubilee bracelet from Uncle Seiko.
Yes, which our friend Nico does that, right? He has the Black Bay 58 on that, and it looks great. It looks fantastic.
And it's not only the comfort. I mean, I don't have problems with the rivet bracelet. The normal bracelet, oyster bracelet. I don't have issues with it because you don't actually see these sides.
So I have to say, I bought my Black Bay 58 Blue on the bracelet thinking I would wear it. I did not. I ended up selling the bracelet.
Right.
Because I could not stand it. I didn't like looking at it. I didn't like the look of it. I didn't like the rivets. If it didn't have the rivets, I would have kept it.
But the clasp, I love that clasp. The Tudor clasp with the ceramic balls.
Yes, with the ceramic ball bearings. It's cool. I replaced it with the original. It's not really a NATO strap. It's a single pass strap. But I replaced it with that. And I think Tudor is known for.
Yeah.
I mean, remember, they were one of the first, I think in 2012, they were one of the first companies to mass produce watches on NATO straps. No one else had done it, and now everyone else has.
And these NATO straps, they actually do are different level. I mean, they're these things are woven on these old looms,
100-year-old mill, right, or looms in France.
It's amazing stuff, and you see how they're made. You have just appreciate them so much more.
And that's kind of why I wanted one.
But coming back,
where is it? Where is the NATO strap on the Black Bay 58s here? It's not there.
That's not a 58. That's
on the Black Bays, it seems to me that on this press release, the rubber strap has replaced.
Yeah, looks like it, because we see the three versions of that burgundy dial Black Bay. Is the Jubilee bracelet new, which is, by the way, about $100 more expensive than the rivet bracelet. I don't know how you call it. You can't call it oyster because they don't.
It is an oyster bracelet. It's an oyster bracelet. It's a rivet oyster bracelet.
They call both
3-link. No, they refer to the oyster bracelet as a 3-link bracelet.
Okay, 3-link and 5-link. Okay,
but it's an oyster and a Jubilee for all intents and purposes.
So we have that. So we have the traditional bracelet. We have the steel bracelet. We have the rubber strap. Now, looking at the rubber strap, it comes with a T-fit clasp.
Cool. And end links, proper end links.
And end links. I'm not so sure if I'm liking these end links or if I would like the integrated rubber going up to the case.
I could care less. This is how the Pelagos came when the Pelagos shipped with a rubber strap. You had to reuse the end links in it.
Yeah. So it comes also with a new movement, which is new as in they added a letter to it, which is now also
the letter is U. So this really is giving me flashbacks to Casio. Mm-hmm. If any of you are G-Shock fans, the 5610s, the Casio G-Shock Square 5610s received an update. I think it was in 2021, was it? And they also just added a U after it and had few new functionalities, but it's funny that they would happen to just put U after the movement. In most Swiss companies, I would think that they would rename or put a number in the movement, right? But U generally just stands for update, right? So it's an updated movement. But it's funny that this to me says you didn't do much. So they have been downplaying the accuracy of these movements because by just putting a U, which means, if they would have changed anything at all, they would have given it a new number, right? And because they didn't give it a new number, this tells me the original Black Bay movements were up to Meta standards. They just weren't certified, which just shows you a lot about Tudor, how good their movements really are, or Kinesi, or whoever you want to call it.
Yeah. So looking at the press kit, which is always something I recommend everybody, go to the website of Tudor, go to the very bottom, click on press room, and then you see a lot of very interesting details about the watch, a PDF with all of the information about the watch, more so than what you see on the website. That's what the journalists use to write the articles about it. So,
Pause.
And you can access that.
First thing that just popped up, new crown. They're not even mentioning it. They didn't even mention it, but that is the new crown. That is the one from the BB Pro.
Yes.
Which is the the very Rolex like grippable crown for the old Black Bays. They had the coin edged.
Right. It was very, very fine.
Yeah.
This is more on the Rolex side of things. Absolutely.
And nowhere is it mentioned.
No, that's true.
Interesting.
Maybe
later on somewhere down in the
subtly domed, blah blah blah. Snowflake hands, the same. It's a nice gilt hands and indices.
So they had the hands and the indices, the Lume plots do remind me of, this is the Black Bay 58, right? The original release Black Bay 58 colorway.
Yeah.
Yeah. So if you're having trouble imagining it, that's the cream that they used for the Lume plots there.
So it has a silicone hairspring, so that means, again, no problem with the
They already did though, right?
Yeah, already did,
so it was nothing major.
Not so sure if they said it that way, but it is, yeah. And it's since it's the same movement, I think we can probably assume that it's the same size or thickness of the watch.
Yeah, I don't think any
might
size
not have changed. But I mean, Meta certification.
This was one complaint that it was too thick, right? This was one complaint about the 41.
Slab-sided, right?
Too slab-sided, exactly.
I think it's not. A lot of it was the crystal that because it's nicely domed, it sticks out a bit.
Yeah.
So that adds to the thickness,
but the
not when you wear
slab-sidedness.
it. The slab-sidedness was a bit of that stuff that talked about that. Anyhow, so we have the Meta certification. Just quick one. Metas is certified after the watch is cased up.
Yes.
And it's from 0 to 5%, 5 seconds a day.
Correct.
Variation at the maximum. The Tudor standard in any case was -2 to +4 after casing. While
so keep in mind, COSC is not cased.
Correct.
COSC is just the movement by itself, and I don't remember. I think it was
-4
+6 or 7, something like this.
And then,
so we're getting finer and finer in terms of our.
And I must say, from my experience, my Tudor watches that I had I think over the years 8 or 9 or some with them with the in-house movement.
Yeah.
And they have been spectacularly
spot on.
Yeah. Really,
Agreed.
I must say that was absolutely fantastic. There was no complaints whatsoever. Even the Breitling-based P01-based chronograph movement was fantastic from the accuracy. 70 hours power reserve, and then again, the newer movements, I think since a couple of years, 3 or 4 years ago, Tudor mentions that in their press material that they do -2 to +4 after casing.
Which is the same as Rolex,
what
right?
They guarantee. No, that's Rolex is -2 +2.
Yeah.
So
it's almost there, but it's still both are better than COSC.
Still 50% improvement.
It is, but both are better than COSC, right?
Definitely.
But Metas beats both.
Yeah. So there's a superlative chronometer rating from Rolex is still ahead of that, but it's close. It's 2 seconds.
And by the way, Metas is under super lockdown standards. So, for instance, if I remember, Jack Forster was talking about it. There's a room in Tudor's manufacture, and no one can enter it. Yeah. The Tudor employees cannot go in.
No.
It's just Metas people that can go in.
It's basically like an implant.
Basically, exactly.
In the Tudor manufacturer,
and,
so they don't have to ship
if I remember correctly, they're not testing. Are they testing every single watch? Or Metas is just testing a random sample?
They measure. That's the cool thing about Metas. You can actually, and also Tudor offers that. Omega does that with all Metas certified watches. You can log into your website for your watch, and you can see the exact test report of your watch. You see what exactly happened with the watch, many seconds it went fast, slow. The entire test report is available for you on the website. Tudor does the same for Metas watches. So you can go for your Meta certified watch and go exactly and check out all of the entire test report. It's
Very
called the
cool.
Watch ID. and you can do that.
Grand Seiko sends you this as well. You get this nice printout whenever you buy a Grand Seiko.
Anyway, so we have that watch now, and that's one of the new releases. It's pretty nice. The burgundy one is updated. None of the other colors is though. So I think we have to see what that means. But I guess over time there will be, updated too.
Yeah. All right. Enough about the Black Bay full size. Let's talk Black Bay 54.
What does that mean?
So blindly, we know that the Black Bay 58 is a reissue of a 1958 Submariner. So blindly, I'm going to guess the Black Bay 54 is a reissue of a 1954 Submariner.
Okay.
And that's kind of what you get. But the big kicker here is size. Once again, apparently, I don't know who said this, but somebody somewhere said that the Black Bay 58 is too big. They want something smaller. So here we have a 37 millimeter Black Bay, which is weird. It's like the thing no one asked for. Okay, like everyone, it was like basically a unanimous thing that the Black Bay 58 was the perfect size at 39 millimeters.
Yes.
So for them to come out with 37 millimeters is just so weird.
Yeah, it is weird. But again, I think they're calling it's true to the origins, right? Because maybe that was the size back then. I have no idea. It was
No. So the original size of the Submariner was a 39 millimeter. It was 39 millimeters for I think 1 or 2 years, and then it was bumped to 40.
Because they're saying here, they're saying like in 1954, the reference 7922 was released. Today, the Black Bay 54 recalls this model with a 37 millimeter case and a manufacturer caliber. What does it mean, recalls?
Remembers, pays homage to.
But if it wasn't 37 back then, does it? Okay, whatever.
But that's why they mention that it is in this 37 millimeter size, right? So I'm just gonna. No. Hold on. Pause. You're absolutely correct. I'm googling right now. The original 1953 Rolex Submariner was 37 millimeters wide, and I think I was in my mind swapping it with the Speedmaster.
Okay.
Because the Speedmaster was 39 millimeters in size at the original, and it was then upgraded to 42. The sub was 37 and then went up to 40.
Okay, so what do we have here? 37 millimeter case. Also, crown new, I think.
Yes, this is
So
a
also
new
the
crown, correct?
broader cut crown.
Yes.
We do not have a Meta certified movement. It's the normal MT554
100.
movement that we see in the Black Bay 58.
Yep.
-2 to +4 seconds. So that's the Tudor standard after casing. So that's the same, but not Meta certified. What else do we have? It doesn't mention here.
It basically, guys, it
silicone
looks
balance,
like
it's the same, but
Black Bay 58, but it's smaller.
yeah, and it has a T-fit clasp. The one that came in the bronze first, then went to the pro.
We don't have the red triangle anymore.
No, that's true. That's really a departure from the Black Bay 58, the original
I don't
color.
not like it. I don't have anything really.
But it's still gilt, right? So you still have
It
the
is still
hand.
gilt. It is still faux patina.
This is the original it came from. We're just looking at it on the monitor. So if you go to
No
the
crown
plastic,
guards,
you
of
can see
course.
the 7922 version. I think it's a good homage.
It is. I like it. I mean, once again, why 37 millimeters? Who knows? Let Tudor be Tudor. This could be targeting the female audience that did say a 39 millimeter was too big.
True.
That could be it. Is now you have a 39, you have a 37, and you have a 41.
Yeah.
And but Oris with the Diver 65 has the same. They have a 36, a 30. Is it 38? And then they have a 40. So it's the same kind of spacing in terms of sizing.
I mean, for me, I think the 39, the Black Bay 58 with 39 millimeters, still have one, the bronze version, the bronze
The boutique edition.
The boutique edition, and I keep that. I really love it.
I love it. I love it.
Great patina. I played around with resetting it with some vinegar and other things.
It's a very cool watch.
And it's really cool. That it's fun to have. It makes your wrist green if you wear it a few days.
My wife knows about this. She has the Oris cotton candy in pink, and that one does the same exact thing.
But why I mention is that the 39 millimeters, I really think, even for my a bit flat and bigger wrist, 39 is perfectly fine, perfectly wearable.
It's a Goldilocks size.
I think so too. Yeah, it's perfect. But I can also see that some people who like 36 millimeters, 37 is just it's a great size. 2 millimeters makes a difference. Sounds weird, but it is.
No, I think so. I mean, 2 millimeters makes a big difference when we're talking about watches. Imagine a 19 millimeter, or let's say 18 millimeter versus 20 millimeter lug width.
Yeah.
It's a massive difference.
Yeah.
So it's, once again, this is one of these niche watch things where 1 millimeter does make a difference.
So the price for this chronometer certified watch, and of course added afterwards with the Tudor standards, is 3,650 Swiss francs. So that's
with still having the faux riveted bracelet as well.
Yeah.
Which you think they would have learned, but they haven't.
And there is no jubilee.
And there's no NATO strap option either. They're going once again with the strap, the rubber strap.
Yeah, how do they call it basically? It says 3-link stainless steel bracelet with polished and satin finish, or rubber strap.
Rubber strap. That's the technical terminology from Tudor that from themselves.
Both come with the T-fit clasp, so that's good. So
that is
see
cool.
that clasp.
I mean, to see a rubber strap, it reminds me of the Everest bands, right? They were the first ones to have a proper clasp on a rubber bracelet, and I think a lot of the times, I don't know if it's just me and my laziness, but maybe you're the same way. It's much easier to put on a watch with a clasp than it is to put on a tang buckle.
Yes, the only problem I have is if I want to change from a bracelet to a clasp, to a rubber strap, and I have to change the clasp because I don't have an extra clasp for it. That's annoying.
That becomes annoying.
It's a bit of a operation, right?
It is.
But I agree with you. It's also safer.
It's safer. You don't drop it.
You're less likely to drop it.
But I think in this, I find myself when I go home after a day of work or something like that, I will take my watch off, whatever watch I'm wearing, and I will throw on undoubtedly something on a metal bracelet because I just want to buckle it and forget about it.
Yeah. Okay, so we have covered then the Black Bay 54, which is came out of the left field. Nobody expected that, but we now have a proper Tudor Submariner
homage
successor. Yeah. So.
Well, no, because the Tudor Submariners were not 50. I believe the first Tudor Submariners came out in 58, right? Spiritual.
Where Tudor says basically this is paying our respect to that old model. It won't be called a Submariner because I don't think we will ever see a Submariner.
No. Sorry, I was wrong. Again, I keep being wrong. I Google and then I'm right. No, 1954 was the first Tudor Submariner. So they are not paying homage to the Rolex Submariner. They are paying homage
to the Tudor
first
Submariner.
Tudor Submariner, which was in fact 1954, hence the name.
By the way, there is one for sale at Timepiece 360. It's our local. One of our local pre-owned dealers.
Yes.
Like to frequent a lot.
Yes, of course. So if you haven't seen us, we do a few videos with them once in a while.
Yeah, you might pop into us there.
There's a what? The Tudor Submariner. Yes, they do.
Next time we go, we have
I think about 1990 something. It's about an 80s or 90s model. Yeah. But they have
it's an 80s
Tudor Submariner.
Anyhow, so what else do we have? What's new? Let's quickly go to the Black Bay GMT because I'm a big fan of the Black Bay.
So once again, guys, we're just going to glance over the fact that there's Black Bay 31, 36, 39, 41.
We come to that, but
what's there to mention? The only thing to mention is that they now have in-house movements, right?
Do they? Okay,
I think that's the only thing that's changed in those.
Yeah, so we have 31 millimeter, 36 millimeter, 39 millimeter. Isn't that new? 39 and 41. Anyhow,
it could be.
So we have now different sizes.
This is the Black Bay without the rotating bezel.
Yes.
Because I always forget that this even exists.
Absolutely. This is the original.
This is the OP, the Oyster Perpetual line for.
How do we actually?
It's just called a Black Bay.
They're all called Black Bay.
they're all called Black Bay.
That's very
No, these do have the numbers after it. I believe these are called Black Bay 36, Black Bay 39, and Black Bay 41, right?
Yeah. True. Okay, so we have that one in blue and black, and it's coming on
Jubilee.
ba-da-da-da, and a 5-link Jubilee, right? So it's
The other ones are all
proper 5-link Jubilee.
the same one that the Tudor Black Bay, the red bezel one is coming on.
And
T-fit.
look at the price.
How much?
19,250 dirhams for this one here.
But it's once again, it's
This
with
is with the diamond dial. Ooh, sorry. Looked at of course.
You went to the end.
My talent is to pick always.
I was
going to
say 19,000 dirhams. Yeah, it's $5,000 for a Tudor.
Oh, okay.
Pushing
if you're
it.
going the non-diamond indices dial, then we are talking 15,930.
It's around $4,000, which is the usual stomping grounds for Tudor.
You get the manufacturer movement. You get the T-fit clasp. I think.
You get a clasp of some sort, whether it's T-fit or not. I don't.
Yeah, but this is good.
I do not see who's buying these.
Actually, I put one on my wrist, and it was surprisingly nice. And I mean, it's basically your Oyster Perpetual from
It is.
from Tudor, or even Datejust without the date.
No, because the Royal would be that. The Tudor Royal to me is the stand-in for the Datejust.
Yeah, but the Royal is also an integrated bracelet thingy, right?
Yeah, it is.
Different.
It's oyster quartz in essence.
Yeah, so a bit like that.
All right. Okay.
So let's talk quickly about this 31, 36, 30, 39, 41. So clearly we have female versions for that. I mean, not
31.
female, just smaller versions. Female or non-female.
If you're a male
doesn't
that
matter.
wants to wear a 31, by all means.
And which is that's big news. That watch in this size, there was no movement. There was no Tudor manufacturer movement in that size before.
Correct.
They did
That was the
supply
big
that
issue.
with Kenissi to Chanel. Chanel had the smaller versions of the J12 already with Kenissi movement in that size.
Did they? Because I thought the smaller ones were quartz for the Chanel.
No,
for
they
the
have also
Manufacturer
automatic,
movements.
which were Kenissi movements, but not. Tudor didn't use them in their own watches. Already supplied others, but not for themselves, which is surprising, right? But then you now see that, and again, there's a whole how this industry is a bit opaque sometimes.
Yeah.
It's like Kenissi is owned by Tudor, majority owned by Tudor. It is the industrial arm of Tudor, and they're also partially owned by Chanel. They own 20%. Chanel also owns 20 or 25% of FP Journe. I mean, whoa, there's
weird.
some
It's
combination.
a very incestual
And
industry.
Chanel does some incredible autorology pieces and movements.
People,
right? So
people don't know this.
If you talk about fashion watches, I think we have to now exclude Hermes,
Cartier, Chanel,
Cartier, and
all of
Chanel
these are
from-
not.
That's not any more fashion.
That's in a whole nother episode
Because
right there. It's
yeah.
fashion watches versus
Because they're
horology.
movement making, and they're the companies they've bought over time
Yeah.
and integrated. They're on a different level now. I mean, they do. And anyhow, Tudor,
All right.
Tudor. Coming back to Tudor. Man, tangents. So we have now the entire line with manufacturer movements. Though the smaller ones don't have, I think, 70-hour power reserve. I think they are a bit lower. I think they only have 50 or 60 because of the size. Yeah, 50 hours. The smaller
Which is still a lot. I mean,
good
my
for the size, yeah.
sub has 48, I believe, right? Something like that for my previous generation Submariner. So they're coming a long way with these movements.
Yeah, and all of them coming exclusively, as I can see it, on that
Jubilee.
bracelet with a T-fit clasp. It's pretty cool. I mean,
We have to keep in mind, Tudor might have a mid-year release, September, right?
Yeah.
So we don't know. You say now they're coming on Jubilee. Who knows what's going to happen in a few months if they're going to introduce, because to me that seems like a very simple update. Throw them on an Oyster bracelet and all of a sudden you have a new watch.
absolutely. All right,
moving on to GMT,
my favorite
your baby.
GMT. Yes, I love it. I don't know why. I'm a GMT fan. I think this is the one complication I have the most in my collection. I'm just a big GMT fan. It started with a Hamilton khaki time zone. I think it was called Air Race, or speedboat racing. It had different locations on the dial, right? You could change locations, and one of them was Jumeirah Beach.
Really?
Yeah. So I have a watch that has Jumeirah Beach on the dial, right? You can choose that. Different locations for speedboat races, right? The World Championship back then, 10 years ago or something.
That's
or 12
random.
years ago.
Jumeirah Beach out of everywhere.
Yeah,
that's cool.
And there's some really funky places, right? When you put your dial in, and you can track 3 time zones with it. And I really love that. I still have that watch. I will bring it one day. And that's how I started with GMT watches, and I love that. So I have the Tudor GMT, Black Bay GMT in two-tone, and I have the Pepsi. I also put the Pepsi on a Jubilee bracelet because it just looks cool and it wears very, very comfortable. Now, what we have new this year is
white dial Pepsi. Very weird. I don't know how I feel about it. Pepsi to me is always black dial, right? Mm-hmm. So to see a Pepsi on a white dial, it's just strange. I
agree with you. It just does look a bit. I mean, we have to see it in person, but looking at these renders and these photos on the website, it does look a bit. It looks like this Timex Q that I have.
Oh, yes, it is a Timex Q. No, I was going to say it looks like exactly like a Explorer 2 polar dial with a Pepsi bezel attached to it.
Yeah, it's a bit of an odd one. And you see here, I think this crown has not changed.
It's the old crown?
Yeah, that's
You're absolutely right.
The entire the movement, the movement, the case, nothing has changed. It's just a new dial.
Yeah.
Which means we can move to the next one, right? Because
what is the next one? The Royal.
That's the
in-house, I believe. Nothing much changed here, right? If I'm not mistaken, it's just in-house once again. The Tudor's really phasing out their reliance on ETA. As you know, ETA is owned by the Swatch Group. They are really not sharing movements with many manufacturers anymore. So Tudor, who did still rely on ETA, which is such a weird thing for me, Tudor was based on ETA. ETA and Tudor are interchangeable, right? They're inseparable.
Yes, they always had things.
So going back to in history here, Rolex started Tudor as the cheaper alternative because they would strip out the movements, put in standard ETA movements, and it would be a cheaper watch to buy.
Yep.
So them not having ETA anymore at all in their portfolio is just, it's sad. It's the end of an era.
Yeah, I think so. But on the other hand, I think just talking for a short moment about ETA. ETA did still provide movements after the whole kerfuffle that went on, like we are not supplying anymore.
But they continued until now.
Because then it was back on, said, yes, we do. But the problem is you only get the old versions of these movements without any changes. Mm-hmm. While the Swatch Group uses in their Tissot's and Longines and all of these watches, Powermatic 80 and all of these movements with much increased power reserve.
Yeah, but once again, why are they increased power reserve?
Silicon hairspring.
But they're not increasing the power reserve because of a stronger mainspring or anything like this.
No, because
they're stepping them down.
They're stepping them down, and they're also making the movement itself better, so it has less resistance, so it can run longer. Whatever they do.
But once again, so if we look at
you get the features, if you can get the same movement, it's still an ETA 28-24 based movements, the Powermatic 80, and so it has the robustness, it has the
Powermatic 80 only has 80 hours power reserve because it is not beating at the 28,600
there are even
28,800 vibrations per
there are versions out with silicone hairspring as well, like in the Tissot Gentleman, for example. It's a watch that's cost, I think, $1,000 or something.
Yeah.
So it's not very expensive, but you get a movement that it's of incredible quality, and it has improvements towards the old ETA.
Yeah.
The old ETA is a brilliant movement. It's a workhorse. It just lasts. Everybody can repair it in the world. It's fantastic. Service costs are minimal. It's fantastic. It's a great movement. It can be, had like Breitling uses them still with a chronometer certification in their Super Ocean line, for example. You still
They're
get that
cheap.
movement.
They're very cheap.
And it's not bad.
You used to be able to buy an ETA movement, like a uncased movement, for something like 50 euros.
Yeah,
it was nothing.
That wouldn't be.
It wouldn't be the. Of course, there wasn't be. It wouldn't be finished. It would just be a base movement.
But what I'm referring to there is they are standing still with that. They're not improving these movements that they sell to others.
Yeah,
they'd only do that internally for themselves, right? So, and that's why I think when Tudor now moves internal and does the movements, they can now get movements with 70 hours.
And so what are we looking at? Which movement does the Royal have?
That's what I'm just checking in the press release here.
Because I'm blindly assuming, we did not read this anywhere. We saw Royal, and what I assumed was that it's going to be the new movement.
So, let me check this out. I think, first of all, we have in the Royal, we have in the bigger sizes, we have the
day-date complication.
Exactly, we have the...
So in the I think, 41 millimeter size, right? You get day-date, or 37 millimeter size, you get date only.
Yeah, and they're coming in 28, 34, 38, and 41 millimeters now, the Royal.
38? Yeah, 37, 38, correct.
38,
yes,
41,
you're right.
And they have a new salmon dial, which looks pretty nice. Let me see what kind of movement is in there, or if they have stuck to the Celita movements that they have used before. They are all COSC certified, so no, that is definitely a new movement.
But does it say explicitly?
No, it does not. It says here, movement is T06, T603, T601, and T201 for the smallest watch. Now, what is that kind of movement? I think it's probably, if I'm...
It is a, let's see here, Tudor T601 is a Celita SW200 or an ETA 2824.
But
they chronometer certified it.
It says it's chronometer certified. So at least...
So we were wrong. They did not drop ETA. We don't know if it's an ETA or a Celita. Yeah.
For the Black Bay, they did. All of them are now in-house movements, but not for the Royal.
But Royal still keeps it. So, interesting.
There we go.
So I think, this is going to be the next one. They are going to stop relying on external manufacturers. They could, I don't know. There's a few manufacturers out there, but it just, to me, I don't understand why they would continue this. They have their own manufacturer. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much they're saving over, buying a Celita, COSC certifying it, and then selling that versus their in-house.
Yeah. And then you still get, of course, only 38 hours of power reserve, obviously, with that.
Yeah, which once again is the normal, right? That's the 28,800 vibrations per hour movement, which is not stepped down. ETA will step that down to 24,000 vibrations per hour, and then that's how they will get the 80 hours of power reserve out of that.
Yeah, is it 21,600 or
24,000 for her?
Or 25,200 or whatever, or like Omega?
21,000 it's 3 hertz, right?
I don't know.
So we have a 3 hertz movement, which gets the 80 hours. A 4 hertz movement is your usual, which is 28,800. And then the 5 hertz is the high beat, which is 36,000.
All Tudors beat at 28,800.
Yep,
so
correct.
That's what we can say for this release. And the Tudor Royal line is also something you have to see it in person. If you have a chance of going to a Tudor boutique, which we have a new one now. We have now.
Yes, in Mall of the Emirates. We have 2. No. Also in Yas Mall. We got another one.
True, in Abu Dhabi.
3. And then I think did they have one in Galleria Mall in Abu Dhabi as well?
I don't know.
They opened the new Rolex boutique there. So I'm not sure if they actually opened the Tudor as well. But for sure, we at least have the new one in Mall of the Emirates.
Yeah.
We have the old one, the quote-unquote old one, which was the first one in Dubai Mall.
Yeah.
And then we also have another one that opened recently in Yas Mall. So 3 Tudor boutiques in one place.
Yeah.
And I went to the Yas Mall one, Black Bay Pro, readily available.
Right, nice.
So a lot of you guys in Dubai, if you're having trouble getting something, especially in Tudor, check Abu Dhabi, check Al-Ain.
Yeah.
And, the demand there is a little bit less. You see there's less tourism, obviously, so a lot of people are not traveling through to buy watches. So you end up with more selection.
Yeah. Or some nice bargains, maybe.
Exactly.
Right? Maybe you can get a discount if it's not moving very fast. And Yasmol, it's not too far, right? Jump in the car, 45 minutes.
Exactly, and you get, once again, here in Dubai Mall, Black Bay Pro not available. A lot of things were not available here, surprisingly. But in Yas, to have Black Bay Pro readily available on purchase,
Nice.
it's not a bad deal.
Anyhow, so I think the releases here from Tudor, to sum it up quickly before we, again, way over time that we wanted to reach.
So we'll cover the other releases in the next.
What didn't happen is, what nobody expected was
54, Black Bay 54. Nobody thought that would happen.
Nobody, no leaks,
Jubilee
nothing.
bracelets we also didn't expect.
Yeah, Jubilee bracelets on Black Bay, amazing. I love that. It's really cool. I didn't expect a white dial GMT.
Yeah, that's just a minor update, though. That's
don't know
it's
how
not
I feel
anything to write
about
home
it.
about. But
Meh. Yeah.
meh. All right, quickly before we end, I wanted to mention two more things that we saw, not in Tudor, but in other places.
Okay.
First, new IWC engineer.
Needs an episode, I think. We
Needs
need
a
to
whole
talk
episode
about
for that. We'll talk about that later on, but it's cool. It's
Yeah.
Genta styled.
I love the old one.
It's nice to see it back.
Yeah.
And then we saw the other day that Jean-Claude Biver opened up his own. We knew he was starting his own watch line.
Yeah.
He just released his first watch under the name Biver with his son Pierre. And it is a
Carillon Tourbillon.
tourbillon. So we will not be able to afford it.
500,000 Swiss francs.
So if you happen to have 500 Swiss francs, 500,000, sorry, not 500, 500,000 Swiss francs burning a hole in your pocket, check out
Do we
Biver's new
know
line.
how many they make? Is there any, is this limited?
I'm sure he'll mention in the next couple of days.
Yeah.
It's going to be asked. So, all right.
Who makes this watch, by the way? Beaver, do they have...
So Biver started as a watchmaker. Many people don't know this. Before he became, CEO and all of this for a lot of companies, he studied and trained as a watchmaker. So he technically has the expertise to make things.
Did he build up his own maison that actually creates these watches, or has he
I don't know. We need to dig deeper into this.
Renault and Papi and so
Exactly. Something like this could have happened, but would Biver do that? I don't know. So this is once again talk for another episode, but we'll find out more in the coming days. And in the next next week or so, we can discuss and see what we learned.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, Tudor, well done. Not
too shabby.
Not too shabby. A completely new watch, the Black Bay 54. Yes, it's
we're gonna have some trouble pronouncing that.
Basically, Tudor is the Black Bay company, right? Everything is Black Bay now, but
correct.
Still,
it's interesting. Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
That's a wrap. We see you soon.
All right. Thank you guys for listening.
Bye bye. Thanks.